Hey everyone, today I got a different video for you. It's not a news video. However, this is, I think, probably some of the most important stuff you're going to hear this week, and it is, what are the best characters to be investing in? Now, I've been asking around on the Discord for Godzilla Battleline, I've been talking to some of the top players for Battleline, and I've been making some notes on what I'm seeing when I'm playing the game. So I've compiled a list of some of the top characters that I think you should be investing in if you want to stay ahead of the meta. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to show you my deck, I'm going to show you a deck that was sent to me, I'm going to give you some honorable mentions, and then we're going to dive straight in to just the best units that I think you could be investing in at the moment. So let's just go. Alright, up first is my deck. And the reason I'm sharing this deck with you is for one simple reason, is I went on a 12 consecutive win streak with it last night after freshly making it after discussions I had on Discord with players and while talking to some of the top players on the leaderboards. I threw this deck together and I went on a 12 win streak just right out the gate, right off the rip using this deck. It was crazy. I had so much fun using it. You don't have to use this deck. I loved it, and I thought I would share with you guys because I think it's pretty good. So we're going to go to the next deck that was sent to me, and it was actually sent to me by one of the top players in the top 10. What he told me about this deck was that it's a single push KO, meaning he said that if you can save up your energy and do a large first assault on your opponent, meaning you just have a ton of your units on the field and you go straight for the gut, you can KO them in one wave of troops. Although, I will tell you that they said that this strategy falls apart if any of your guys start getting KO'd. As soon as you start losing units, it becomes difficult to get them back in the field due to the high energy costs, and immediately your strategy can begin to fall apart and it is difficult to salvage. So I do not know if it's the top 10 strategies to be using, but this is a deck that was shared to me that is doing very, very well, and that's seeing a lot of play, not just with the top players, but all over the place. So I wanted to give you the strategy, how to build it, and we're just going to go into the characters from here on out. So I want to start off with 3 honorable mentions. The first 2 on our honorable mentions have actually been nerfed, which is Anguirus and Destroyer. And Anguirus arguably had the biggest nerf that we had seen, period. However, Anguirus and the Destroyer larva are seeing a lot of play still. The costs are alright, the damage output is good, but the damage hasn't changed for Destroyer larva. The damage has changed for Anguirus and his health has changed, but he's still doing very good and taking a lot of hits and eating up a lot of your opponent's attack time. And the Destroyer units are just sniping people off the bat. They come up from behind and they can snipe. They have good range. They can hit anti-air so they can get Rodan and the stealth bombers and the choppers. So even with the nerfs, they're still really solid picks to put on your team in my opinion. As well as Godzilla Terrestris, and the reason I didn't put him in the list of ones that I think you should be investing in, it's because he's a 4-star and he's kind of difficult to get. We just had him added as an event and not many people have him leveled up. Mine is level 3 and he does the Lord's work when we're playing from the back line. So I just wanted to throw these guys in here as honorable mentions because I do not think that they are essential upgrades, but they are good to have. If you've already invested in them from the previous season, no harm in what you've done. They're still pretty good, but I don't think they're any of the more important units that we're going to be talking about. First up is Moguera, and Moguera is seeing a ton of play. One, you can put him anywhere on the board, anywhere, and he can't get damage until after he appears from under the earth. He does damage wherever you place him. He does an initial burst of damage before he appears and starts attacking, as well as if you put him underneath the ground in a straight line, he'll go straight to the back. If he passes under any enemy units, they will take damage. So Moguera is seeing a ton of play. He's 6 energy cost. He's sniping people left and right. You can throw him anywhere, and he is seeing play in almost every deck I've seen on Discord, like you wouldn't believe. Everyone has Moguera. I've been using Moguera. He's so good. You can throw him anywhere, not just a leader. He'll attack facilities, air units, ground units, leaders, third forces, wherever you want. If you got 6 energy and your board is kind of full, toss Moguera in there. I know I've seen some people snipe me and just take all my health down with 4 Mogueras throughout the match. It is so crazy, and he's definitely, in my opinion, if not the best pick on this list, in the top 3, no question. Moguera, super good, super fun unit, easy to get. Everyone, I think, should be working on this guy. Next up on the list is Hedorah, and if you've watched any of my videos talking about the units in the game, you'll know that I love Hedorah. I have Hedorah sticker on my car, and I have a Hedorah sticker on my computer. I love him, and I was so upset when I tried to use him in the last season, and he was just dying, constantly dying, left and right, no matter where I put him. Well, after his buff, which actually slowed his speed down, this guy is doing crazy numbers. As soon as he is thrown on the field, he starts doing poison. It never stops, and he just goes straight to the back line. If you throw him over some water, any units that are in the water that are trying to get him are going to slow down. You know, he's going to pass right over the water. You put him on the back left, the back right, so he goes all the way up to the back, and then he turns in to give him the most time to evolve. He only needs 20 seconds. And his acid, when he's in the flying stage, is super good too. He's doing little bits of damage. He can even kill Kamakura swarms or Destroyer larvae if your opponent is still using them. So his flying form is no slouch. And his evolved form is probably one of the best units, I think. For the cost, he's a 3-star, and he does a huge amount of damage. He has an acid attack that's ranged that can hit aerial units, leaders, third forces, ground, facilities, everything. And it's a big, wide circle that just drops of acid and does damage over time. It is super strong, and then when he dies, he drops a pool of acid that stays on the ground for a few seconds, and any of the enemies that walk over it are going to get damaged. And because he's so cheap, if you can get him to evolve, and he can tank a ton of damage when he's evolved, if you can get him to evolve and you have the energy, you can just start dumping Hedorah on the field. As soon as he dies, you can put him back if he's in your slot. He's such a good unit all around. He's cheap, he's powerful, and he's tanky. He's so good. I highly recommend Hedorah. I'm so happy that he's finally becoming viable. Next is a familiar face from last season, and that's the Kamakuras, not the Swarm. So Kamakura's Swarm was nerfed, but the regular 2-energy Kamakuras was not nerfed, so still as viable as the last season. I'm not going to talk too much about him because you've all seen him if you've been playing the game, but just know that he still is viable. He did not get nerfed, and I still see him in play all the time. Next is the only effect unit on this list, and it's the Psychic Chorus. The main reason I was told that this is seeing a lot of play is for the recovery. I've been told that if you throw this on the field, you know, stack it with Mothra, you just do like a ton of healing. You know, if you're in a pinch, if your leader is in a pinch, throw this down on your leader. You'll heal them right up. It is super great. It's like a last minute, you know, last ditch strategy. Throw that on, heal your units, get them up. I haven't used it myself too much, but a lot of the top players are telling me that this is what they've been using and this is what they're seeing. So I thought I would put it on this list. Next up, we're going to finally get into the leaders, and we're going to start with Godzilla. So with Godzilla, he was just buffed. He just had a crazy buff. I think out of all the buffs and nerfs that were dished out this season, he got the best end of it that you could possibly imagine. He's super strong, he got faster, he has more health, such a good unit to place on the field, and such a good unit to have as your leader. Now as a unit, he's great at attacking, he's great at running right up into your opponent's face, and he does a ton of damage. He is so strong as a unit. But I'm more interested in the fact that him as a leader, he does a ton of damage with his ability, he has a ton of health, he has a very wide and long attack range, and he's just a great unit to have. Plus, you can level him up super easy because he is not 4 stars. He is one of the more common pulls, just like Mechagodzilla, who we'll get to in a second. But between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, they're probably the 2 most common leaders you're going to see because they are the easiest to level up and get to a high level that makes them super strong. So now we're on Mechagodzilla. For the same reasons that I just said with Godzilla, Mechagodzilla is very viable. He's easy to get, he's easy to come by, he's easy to level up, you know, he's cheap, and he has a ton of health if he's a leader. He is like an absolute tank, just sitting there. He'll take so much hits. He has long range and he has a wide search range, and he has anti-air, he has his lasers. He's so good. I am seeing him as a unit on the field a lot, but I will say not as much as Godzilla. I think out of all the leaders that we're talking about today, he is on the field the second least. I think the least would be Mothra, then Mechagodzilla, and then Godzilla. Godzilla is more of a unit. I think Mechagodzilla is more of a leader, and I think he is super strong. Finally, we have Mothra, and the reason I didn't want to include the other stats for Mothra and Mothra larva is because that Mothra larva isn't seeing any play. There's no Mothra larvas on the field. You'll see some Batras, but no Mothra. Mothra as a leader, however, if you can level her up, is very strong, and I believe that her life force scales ability is one of the best in the game. 2 energy, 120-second cooldown, restores 10% of the maximum HP of each allied ground unit on the battlefield every second for 30 seconds. That is huge. That is such a great power boost, it's such a great heal, and every time I see it come from a high-powered Mothra, I get absolutely smoked. All their units basically become invincible. So this paired with the Psychic Chorus is huge, and that is what I'm being told is seeing a lot of play. If you can get Mothra to a high enough level, definitely go for her, because I think she has the best ability. Alright, so that is the complete list of the best investment characters this season for Godzilla Battle Line. And like I said earlier at the beginning of this video, I got all this information from Discord and from playing the game and talking to some of the best players. So if you want to be part of those conversations, if you want to talk with me or some of these players that I gathered this information from, the link to this Discord will be below. It is a great resource for learning. There's guides up all the time. There's news being posted. There's videos being posted there, and tons of Godzilla Battle Line discussion going on. So that's where I'm learning these strategies, and I'll be sharing them with you here. And if you want to be part of that conversation, join the link below. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching this whole video. I know it's been probably my longest one, but I appreciate it. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out.